Welcome back to Race Report, everyone. We have just completed the first ever event of the 2022 F1 season. It is pre-season testing in Barcelona. 3 days long, 3 days of us being able to see the cars, looking at what's on the track, and hopefully finding out what is in store for us in the coming season. So let's get stuck straight into what happened, shall we? Firstly, I will caveat, obviously it is a pre-season test, so we know the timesheets aren't everything, but we will look at other factors such as reliability and how the team's running, what kind of scenarios they may have been running. For instance, I did hear that Alpine apparently did not run a single DRS test, nor did they run a low fuel test. So you may be thinking, oh, Alpine, bit of a surprise, they're a bit far down. But actually, they could have been holding something back for us there. But there does seem to be a winner coming out of this first test, and it is in fact Ferrari. There had been speculation for some time that Ferrari were going to come into this season hard to try for a championship push, and they completed the most amount of laps, consistently near the top of the time sheets, and it just looked like an all-round good car. Very good reliability, very good speed, a good look as well, which always helps. So they were very impressive. They even had the other teams talking up. For instance, Mercedes were like, Ferrari, pretty good, pretty worried about them. So that's always a great situation to be in if you're in Ferrari's shoes. McLaren were another team that might be looking to take the next step up to the top echelons of the sport. They did complete a good amount of laps as well, good amount of speed, and a very good look as well on that car. However, it was strange to see Lando Norris come away from the test saying they hadn't completed all of their objectives, which, from looking outside in, I thought they were doing great, but apparently they had bigger goals, so we'd love to see what happens in the second test for them. It was also made clear in this test that both Mercedes and Red Bull were not phased in their development of these cars. There was some pressure around the end of last season was, are they going to spend too much time developing the 2021 cars to win that championship and not enough time developing the 2022 cars to win this championship? But it looks like we can put that to bed now. Both Mercedes and Red Bull were incredibly fast, incredibly reliant over the course of these 3 days. In fact, Mercedes on the timesheets 1 and 2, with Red Bull 3 and 4. So, will we get another titanic battle this season? I hope so. And of course, if there are winners in this test, that means there are also going to be losers in this test. And unfortunately for them, this time out, that is Alfa Romeo and Haas. Both teams struggled with massive reliability issues across all 3 days, which is a shock considering they had the most amount of time to spend on these cars. Haas, of course, didn't develop their car at all last season, and it is believed Alfa Romeo ended their development incredibly early as well to start very early on these 2022 cars, so it is a surprise to see that they are having the amount of reliability issues that they are right now. Valtteri Bottas, the new team leader at Alfa Romeo, had the fewest laps of any driver in the field and consistently pointed out that they were not achieving the laps and the data that they wanted to achieve. As a result of those reliability issues, we also didn't see too much from our one rookie this season, Guan Yu Zhou. Pre-season testing, obviously a great tool to bring the rookies up to speed, for us to be able to see them in the driving seat as well. Of course, just not enough time in that seat for him right now. Haas, of course, also had their own drama going on off the track. They made a swift and decisive action to drop their Russian-backed sponsor, Uralkali, from their livery and change their livery completely, taking away the Russian-esque branding off their car. They just ran a plain white livery on the third day. And of course, with that decision, They've called into question their future in the sport. Will they have enough money to continue? They've also called into question their driver lineup. Obviously, Nikita Mazepin is in their car right now, and he did take place on the third day as scheduled, but he's only in that car because of that Uralkali backing from his father's company. So if that backing is now gone, will he stay in the car? So lots going on off track for Haas right now. Lots of legal issues, I'm sure, but they also didn't have a great time on track either with their own reliability issues. Their car didn't look particularly fast, although it does look pretty smart, I will say. It didn't look particularly fast, so we'll see where they sit come Bahrain as well. Away from the cars, we also got our first chance to see the new tyres in action for this season. Pirelli had been mandated that they needed to make a tyre which could be pushed, which could be backed off of, and then pushed again. So it kind of had a recovery built into it. And we did see teams do that in this test to try those tyres out, and it appeared that they did all right. Did pretty good. So that's quite exciting as well from a fan perspective that, hey, we might get more pushing on these tyres. That was not the only other mandate though. Of course, the whole reason for this new car design is to try and attract more competitive racing, with cars getting closer to each other and being able to overtake at any moment. So, did we see any of that? Of course, these cars weren't racing each other, but some did go out there with the intention of trying to be close to other cars, sitting in behind them at a close distance. And the majority reported back that that was much better, much better than we have had in previous years, which is huge. That's the whole reason why we did these changes. So the fact that that is working is fantastic. I can't wait to see that in action in Bahrain. But there is one problem that the teams will need to fix before they reach Bahrain, and you might have seen it, called porpoising. Like a dolphin, yeah. There's very technical reasons why this happens to cars, but basically what it looks like is the car bobs up and down. It's because the airflow going under the car makes the car sink down at the rear end, and then it comes back up when the diffuser stalls, making it bob up and down. Of course, that's not great for the drivers, and it has actually damaged parts of the cars. Like we saw the Alpha actually get damaged because they had so much bobbing in their car. It did affect all the teams to various different degrees, and we did see some quick fixes. For instance, we saw Alpine gouge out some holes in their floor to try and help, and other teams raised their ride height, but of course those impact the performance of the car, so they'll probably look for a more elegant solution by the time we get to Bahrain. But it is something every single team is going to have to deal with by the time we get to Bahrain, so looking forward to seeing how teams figure that one out. Anyway, that's the highlights from the first test in Barcelona for the F1 2022 season. We have about a month's break now before the second test in March in Bahrain, and then we go racing. Not long now to wait. Oh, I'm so excited for it. These cars look amazing, and I can't wait for them to get on track and be racing each other. What do you guys think? Were you super excited about what we saw? Let me know, and I'll catch you in the next one.